everybody, I'm Dusk. Welcome to Realm of the Sacred Roots. I wanted to talk to you today about how I sense the dead and how the dead make themselves known to me. Throughout the video, I'll probably refer to them as those who've passed on, the dead, or the disincarnate. Let's start with some of the clairs today. I'm not going to go over all of them, but just the ones I primarily use. And let's start with clairsent, I'll call it. There are other names for it, but let's start with clairsent, which is basically the ability to have psychic smell, where from a spirit that nobody else in the room can smell. And I wanted to give you some examples. A friend of mine recently lost his son, and one morning I woke up and I smelled the strong smell of cologne in the room. And I could sense and feel that it was my friend's son who was showing up to me to wish his father a happy Father's Day. And so I spoke to my friend and I let him know. And I said, this really strong scent of cologne hit me in the morning, and I saw him standing, the son standing next to the bed, and he started to smile, and he confirmed that it was his son, that the his sisters and brothers used to playfully tease him about how strong his cologne was. So it that was just one of the ways. It's just like if your grandmother passed and you would smell her perfume in the room, or someone might walk by and you'd smell the scent and it would remind you of your grandmother. Sometimes that happens where you'll no one will be in the room, but you'll smell grandma's scent, a perfume in the room. And that's just her letting you know that she's there with you, that she's popping in and saying hello to you. This happens quite often. People will have that scent. And also, a friend of mine, I was reading for her, and I actually saw smoke as I was reading for her, and I smelled the smoke too. And I was taught that you give exactly what you get. Don't try, because the smoke didn't make any sense to me. And then also to smell the smoke. So I let her know that for some reason, that her mother was showing me like smoke, and I smell smoke as well. And she was just like, yeah, that's my mom. She said she always smoked cigarettes and she knows I couldn't stand it. That was the biggest thing she said, that she just couldn't stand her mom doing. And that was her mom definitely coming through as confirmation that it was her. And so that's usually how clear scent works for me. It'll be some type of sign. The spirit will give me some type of smell, whether it's a perfume. In that other latter case, it was the cigarette smoke, where I knew that it meant something to her, and then she was able to tell me what exactly that was. And then of course there's the clairvoyance, which is the ability to see things that the human eye can't physically see. They call it inner sight, or some type of visual perception. And this goes two ways. You can either physically see a spirit there, or you can see it up here, okay? What I call psychically. So that's what the clairvoyance one is for me. So I'll wake up in the morning. Sometimes there'll be a spirit standing right there by my bed. That's and usually in the mornings, because you're more relaxed and your guard isn't up as much, so spirits can come through a little easier. One time I lived in an apartment that was near a highway and a bridge, and I would see spirits all the time, physically see them. And I'm guessing, I don't know if it had anything to do with the high rate of death that would happen on the bridge on this highway, but I would see people walking through my apartment. I saw this one girl just as if I weren't even there, and maybe she didn't realize that I could see her in a white gown, and it was kind of haunting. And she just walked through my apartment kind of in a daze. And sometimes these spirits are lost, especially if the accident was violent. I realize that sometimes they don't know. I'll I'll be driving and I'll see people. One example, I saw a couple people. They looked like they were walking speedily across the road, but they looked like it was almost a grayish form. They didn't look like people. It was sort of, they were kind of grayed out. And then as soon as I got to the spot, I didn't see anyone there, like walking or passing through the road. There was nobody there. So it was like, what the heck? I'm assuming those people either probably got hit there or something to that effect. So those are some examples of physically seeing those who are dead and have passed on, and their ghosts, or they're trying to, if they know you can see them, try to get your attention. Other times, your clairvoyance can also work up here. A lot of times I will see a spirit up here. So one day I was just sitting on my couch and I saw a little boy with a rainbow shirt, and he was on a bike, but I noticed that one of the wheels on his bicycle was kind of over in a ditch. And again, I'm seeing this up here. So I went over to him, closed my eyes, and went over to him, and I got the wheel and put it back on the bike for him, and that's all he seemed to want, and he went about his way. So it's not always about me helping them cross over. Sometimes they just need help in different ways. I get a lot of children. Sometimes I think they feel safe with me. So a lot of times I'll see children. Um, so yeah, that was just one of the examples where I didn't physically see him with my eyes, but I did see him up here. So that's just another, when they say inner sight, that's an example of inner sight. And then there's a clairaudience, being able to hear the thoughts or words of spirits, but usually you don't hear a physical voice. Usually it's not a physical voice, but it can occur, they say, through telepathy. So if you're hearing the spirit's voice, you hear it again up here. Usually for me, it's names. So if I see a spirit, I'll ask the name, and the name automatically comes to me like that. I get names easily. So if I'm asking a question to them, like what culture or where do they come from, eh, the name will come to me, so I'll know if I can't tell by how they're dressed. Let's say. Also, music comes to me that way sometimes, and it's because I ask the spirit to maybe give me a melody or give me a note, and I wait for spirit to drop something in here, and I hear it. I hear the melody, and I'm able to, which I think goes with my gift of singing. So I think somehow that ties in together where I'm able to hear that. Again, that's still clairaudience. And then also, this was a pretty cool story at the time. A really good friend of mine, we're still good friends. We were on a plane together, and um, I looked over at her and I said, "What did you say?" Because I didn't quite hear everything she was saying to me. And she basically said, "I didn't say anything." And I looked at her. I said, "I just heard you say something about da 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 da," whatever. I heard a little bit of what she said. And she said, and she kind of opened her eyes big and a little freaked out as she said, "I didn't say anything." She goes, "I was thinking about turning around and asking you a question, that question." She said, "But I didn't ask it." And that's when we both kind of looked at each other like, WTF, like what the hell just happened there? And that's happened twice to me. That hasn't happened often, but it's happened twice where I was able to hear someone's thoughts before they actually said something. Of course, and then they confirmed that, "Oh crap, yeah, I was just going to say that. I was just going to ask that." So that happens as well with clear audience. It's the same as when you hear someone call your name. If you're laying in bed and you hear someone call your name, it's the same. Clear audience works the same way. And they also say that usually people with this gift are able to channel the spirit the spirits through automatic writing, and which is a gift I have, which is automatic writing. And I didn't realize at the time that that was tied to Clairaudience, which it makes sense. You're able to hear what this spirit that you're channeling is saying, and then write it at the same time. But I wanted to give you some of the ways. It's not all the ways, but those are the top probably three ways that I end up hearing or seeing or feeling or smelling a spirit, their presence, and knowing that they're there. And this is how they let me know that they are there. You first sense the spirit, and then you use one of the clairs, one of your gifts, to then dig in a little deeper, ask them a question, see if you can help them out, whatever it is that if you feel like you're called to do that, if that's what you feel like you're supposed to do. I know a lot of people who want nothing to do with the dead, and they absolutely want nothing to do with those who have passed on, and they have the gift, but they just don't want to deal with it. And I understand that too. You have to, not only have the gift, but have a desire to work with them. And if you don't have a desire to work with them, then that's understandable as well. But those are just some of the ways that I am able to sense the spirits of the dead. And that's where I started on my path of um, going a little darker and deeper. From there, working with skulls, working with blood, working with basically the dead. There are armies of the dead that can be worked with and can be put at command if you choose, if you have the right skills to do so. So my next videos will probably be a little bit deeper into necromancy and what that means to me, and how I communicate with the spirits to do what I ask them to do. So, okay, well, hopefully that video was enlightening to you, and I will be putting out more videos in this category very soon. So I'm going to try to stay on that necromancy path for a few more videos and see where we go from there. Thank you for watching.